I am indeed.
Cool. Well, then I think we need to just do a little count.
Let's do a little count.
And
one more for 2024.
This is technically the unofficial cold open because there won't be a cold open. So, anything you want to add? No.
Nah.
Cool.
Nah, we're good.
3, 2, 1.
You did it. You're here. You made it through the year. We're here. We're in queer media. Get used to it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's your boys. It's the Cccah. And we're back for our second annual The Year That Wasn't Awards. The YTWs, Christopher. The YT Dubs. How you feeling?
I'm feeling unprepared for this year that we are now in, although not now in, but will be when this comes out to our audio listeners. But to those YouTubers with their finger on the pulse, this is happening right now on the 31st.
Oh, so you're being special to the YouTubers.
Yeah, so I think now is a good time, Jeffrey, for us to recap what didn't happen over the year.
I see.
Yeah, I was doing
That's fine.
That's fine.
I kept calling them the FOMOs.
You did
of recent times.
That was your just don't recent times me, honestly, you fucker.
Yeah, did I do this to your
when you came up with this last year? You came up with the idea of the FOMO awards.
Yeah,
which this isn't technically, but it is. Some of the questions are FOMO-y.
Kind of.
Yeah,
they're FOMO adjacent for sure. They're FOMO core. They're FOMO pilled. I'm FOMO dead. The year that wasn't, guys, you remember last year. So Christopher, as you know, my new tradition is to consume the Christmas special and the New Year's special of our podcast. So I'm
just happy you're listening, to be honest.
I'm a big veteran of the pod now, I feel like. And gosh, last year's was just an absolute class act example of some improvisation that just came together. Lots of banter. Oh boy, do we do a lot of banter on this podcast. And somehow awards were handed out. Good stuff. I had a nice, gnarly 12-minute coughing fit that you had to cover for me during.
Yeah.
And with all the audio editing skills in the world, there was still a bit of it. I was on a train listening. I was on a train to Aylesbury, and I was like, good Lord, man, cover your mouth. Jesus. But we recovered, and thank you for covering for me. I hope that this year we won't have to do that again. But so many good bits. There was a lack of a cold open. I thought we could keep a tradition of, even though we, that was also for Christmas, but don't worry about that. But this one is basically, as you said in the pre-production meeting, this one is just one big, long, cold open. And guess what, Christopher? Fuck a 30-second game.
Oh, that's very nice.
I know. The one time a year.
But could I just say something? That if we were to do a 30-second game, what we would do is we would spend 30 seconds telling new listeners that our podcast is traditionally about pitching content to each other and reviewing it.
So true.
And we would review it by giving it like antiquated scores out of 5 for enjoyment, retrospect, and anticipation. Yeah.
Get in.
And then what we would do is we would guess what those scores would be. And then the guy who was closest to those scores would win the episode. And we would try and keep a tally somewhere, but we wouldn't do that very well. So then our friend who's on a different continent would do it for us.
True.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued about this concept you speak of. And weirdly, when I looked at my watch and you started that was about 30 seconds ago. So that was
it's almost like we've been doing it for 2 years, Jeffrey.
The way you just did it was actually like, it was even within like 20 words. I don't think we've ever done that. You were like, oh, we just pitch it to each other and we review it. I was like, wait, what? Is that all we do? That's wild.
Well, yeah, we used to say that all the time and then it got boring. So then we added colour to that bit of the show. Yeah.
Sounds like
we had lots of segments until we realised that we spoke too much about the content. But today, Jeffrey, we're not talking about the content. We're talking about the year that was not.
Yes.
And
the awards.
Did we remind me, because you've consumed the content?
Such good content.
Did we agree on which one won the award? Were we pitching what we thought it was?
This is again.
So that no awards are actually handed out in your awards.
No, they are. They very much are. It's another anomaly in terms of, it's not a competition, and yet again everything is. Along those lines, the competition here is we basically are just like talking each other through the Jeffies and the Chrissies, the Jeffreys and the
okay.
Christophers. Yeah. So we've got our individual awards,
Yeah.
and then
Mine are going to the same people because I do not branch out enough. Yours are going to people that I've never heard of.
Yeah, there might be one or two.
And then at the end of the episode, we say goodbye, we do our thing.
Oh, is that all we do at the end of the
I
episode?
don't know. What do we do, Jeffrey?
I'm having so much fun already. Okay, guys. So we got we got 3 categories, but 4 subcategories in each category. That's right. We've got the year that wasn't in movies. We've got the year that wasn't in music, and then we have the year that wasn't in gigs and events. When I was temporarily sort of on we could just make the FOMOs about the top 5 things you've missed out on. For instance, I guess in my head I just thought of the category 3, the year that wasn't in gigs and events. So I do wonder, because the more I spent time scratching that itch of FOMO, it's actually an endless list. So it took me a while to come up with.
But you went to everything that happened last year,
dude. You've just nailed chef's kiss. You just nailed the exact problem with FOMO. The more you go to, the more you will feel FOMO for. Because it's like the drugs.
Like I don't
the
go
more
to
you
anything,
do, and you're just chilling.
I don't know anything's happening.
and there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We solved FOMO. Movie you wish had been made is our first award. Would you like a reminder of what got these awards from us last year,
please.
Christopher?
Yes, please.
So for me,
I haven't looked and I can't remember, so but I'll be.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
You didn't look. You specially requested.
If I didn't have time.
Google Doc.
This has all happened very quickly.
It's my fault. I just told you the pages. I should have sent you the screenshots. That's totally on me. You gave your award, and I love it. I get to read back to you. You're going to pop for your own shit more than anything, so I'm hating this already.
100%. People come for me, but they listen to you.
You did. Your movie you wish had been made award last year in the year 2023. Crazy.
If it's Sonic
2024,
I'm gonna be like...
I know. It went to Community, and you wrote in brackets, I did a rewatch. Where's my movie? Yeah, that's good stuff. And mine was Elf 2, which we had nice long arguments about. Your argument, the crux of it was Anchorman 2.
Or Zoolander 2. Or...
Great.
Or any that have happened.
It's wild.
Although Ben's still on Hot Ones recently.
Yeah. Better than Zoolander 2, is that what you're saying? Is that
no, he says it got a bad rap. It was quite funny.
Really?
He's like a little defender of it. But...
Oh, I love that. Fantastic. What's your movie you wish had been made award going to this year, Christopher?
So I don't have one. However,
lovely.
I feel like I recently watched Social Network for the first time. I had not seen it.
What in the fucking world?
Yeah.
Do we even text? We send all the texts.
But
when was this?
No, you're going to correct me, is what I'm expecting.
What were you wearing? What were you eating? Where were you?
I was at home.
Yeah.
I was watching it on telly. On my telly. Okay. It wasn't on the telly. That's a whole other story. We haven't got time for that. It wasn't on any. I had to do my old. I had to go find knock next door. I said, guys, you got Social Network, preferably on Blu-ray or something.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. That's wild. Okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
sorry. Please do your answer. I'm getting distracted.
I want a new walkie-talkie Aaron Sorkin movie. I don't know if one came out in 2024. Wow. But I feel like it's been a while. I need a walk and talk movie. Like where people are talking so much that my partner says, "What are they saying? I don't understand." Then I rewind and put the subtitles on. Like one of those. Like we watched the Social Network with subtitles because we all know not Mr. Zuckerberg, but the guy with a similar name who played him.
The Eisenberg.
That's the one.
Talks a mile a minute, my guy.
He does. He's a rambler.
Yeah. So there was the trial of the Chicago 6 in 2020.
Oh, okay.
2020 though, so you're due.
I'm due a Sorkin walkie. That's what I'm saying.
I love this. The specific terminology you've used for your movie that you wish had been made is perfect.
Like I don't care what it's about. I just want that vibe. Give me
100%.
Give me West Wing, which I've not seen. I could just watch West Wing. Yeah, that's probably what I should just do.
I really enjoy that because this is foreshadowing potentially long-term storytelling for the podcast.
Yeah. And where's when you listened back to the pod? Sorry, I'm on a rant now.
Yeah, please.
Did I say last year? Where's the year that wasn't in TV?
No.
Why have we just got movies? Why have we just excluded TV?
Oh, this is fun. This is good. Because I thought the other day we had our alternating Christmas movies, Christmas songs idea, and I was like, there's very definite category missing if we do that, and that is the TV show.
Hey,
That's
who
such a
said it
good
was
shout.
alternating? Who said what's happening next year, Jeff?
I think that would be me.
Okay, fine.
But I think I do agree with you. We'd have to agree on that. It's just there's something a bit more symmetrical and beautiful about it, isn't it? 3 is a bit long. But hey, all that to say, I feel like you can squeeze a TV thing in there.
Fair. Maybe that's coming in
maybe that's coming
later in what the year that wasn't movies.
Yeah.
What's
I
yours?
really like your answer. Mine, honorable mention to this year. I've mentioned it. Christopher getting the stamina ready for all the honorable mentions. Todd Haynes and Joaquin Phoenix were due to make a movie together. I've complained about it before. Joaquin Phoenix seemed to have bailed the day before. I'm gutted that movie isn't being made. I love the director. I love the actor. And Christopher, you'll have to agree with this one. Give Peter Jackson more archive footage of the Beatles.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's get long form. Let's sit down for 10 hours in the rehearsal space.
Yeah.
God damn it. I need more of that. It probably is just a bridge too far.
Because that little Beatles 64 movie was like fine. But
it was cool. It was cool, but it wasn't.
Make it 5 hours.
That's what I'm saying. It's such a simple formula, isn't it? But mine would be building off a pitch I did actually give to you, which is I'm thinking of ending things. Charlie Kaufman, I'm calling you out, son. Where you at, motherfucker? Write another original movie. Yeah, it's great if you adapt something, direct it. Cool. Happy to see you, mate. Write that shit. I know Hollywood won't fund me. Go film it in your garden. Get your mates and I want you to write it, Charlie. You've probably mortgage your house, do all the things, do a Francis Ford Coppola, put your life on the line for me. Okay? I miss you. All I'm saying is I miss you, and your original works changed my life. And if you decided to make another one, I would cry and feel like life has a point. Next up, movie you wish you had seen. Oh, this one's a bit. We're drifting into the like FOMO territory now, because after it, you have to get a bit techie here. After it is movie you wish we had seen together. So these are two divergent roads. You can whack them together if you like, but you don't necessarily have to. Mine always seem to be influenced by, as you teased me for, who was in town, who was doing a Q&A, who did you miss talk about it? Right at the end of the year, there was a really interesting looking film called The Nickel Boys that I really wanted to see, and there was a few Q&As with that, and I couldn't quite make it, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully catching it in the new year, but I wish I'd seen it during that initial run when there were Q&As. Christopher, do you have a nice, easy lob up for movie you wish you had seen?
Honestly, it's something that I caught a trailer for very earlier in the year and intrigued me. It was by a Coen brother, and it was called Drive Away Dolls.
Don't tell me. Drive Away Dolls is your winner. Wow, I love that shout.
It's just one of those random ones that it caught my attention, looked fun, didn't come to my cinema, so then I kind of forgot about it, and just having a quick scrolly rolly of what happened in 2024. I was like, actually, wasn't that movie in 2024? I think it was.
Yeah,
I think
that's
it was very
actually
early
a really good answer. That's a really good answer. And again,
because that tickles that. Everyone has those itches. Sometimes you have a Wes Anderson itch, or an Aaron Sorkin itch. Sometimes you just have a Coen Brothers itch, and it seemed just like some wacky little story.
I actually love that descriptor you've used, and hopefully, at its best, this podcast is just a never-ending scroll, a map of said itches. It's a map of itches, and I love that for us. Drive Away Dolls, great answer.
Thank you. Had you seen it yet or not?
I haven't, and literally, almost, I feel like I'm occasionally now coming off listening to the year that wasn't for last year. Am I just listening to it, or am I in it? Because you saying that, I literally felt that podcast like, oh, I should make a note of that. I want to see it too. I forgot about that one also. Yeah. So I'm literally a grateful listener out here making notes, as I usually do when I'm listening to podcasts. Screenshot. So next up is movie you wish we had seen together. Let's get controversial. Christopher, do you have an easy one here, or shall I open this up here?
Technically, a movie that came out in America on Christmas Day was completely unknown. However, as it hasn't come out in the UK, it's not going to be my answer. It's an honorable mention. Also, because you have no soul and you haven't seen Sonic 2, we haven't seen Sonic 3 together. One that could have been fun, these are still honorable mentions, I think you referenced him earlier, Megalopolis.
Megalopolis from
would have been just like a batshit crazy thing to see together.
True.
However, my funny little answer, because we went so deep in Gladiator 1 is Gladiator 2.
Wow.
I'm sad that we didn't watch Gladiator 2 together.
Did you occasionally look over during?
Yeah, I just looked at my partner and went,
been...
you're not Jeff.
And she was like, "Aren't you glad?" And you were like, "Yes."
Yes, indeed I am.
That's a great. That's a great answer. Wow, I'm surprised that Gladiator 2 beat out Megalopolis, because Gladiator 2 was longer. Megalopolis would have just been jokes. I like that you like, but I feel like it was your winner determined by just how much pod airtime the original got, basically.
Kinda, and we both went into a whole Gladiator space where we both watched it after.
I listened to the commentary.
Yeah, after like a couple of decades, and we're just like, wow, this is not a bad movie. Funny.
Yeah. That's wild. That's a wild winner.
Have you seen Gladiator 2 yet?
No, I've occasionally looked at it, but then I just
was there not a Q&A or?
No, but also, funny fact, I can send you a link for this.
Funny,
right?
I'm
out
or
here
just
like
funny, awkward.
Nah, funny neither, really. Funny, just a thing I'm about to say that'll elicit no response. Gladiator 2 was just out of my mind. At a certain point, when you shut up about it, I was like, that one's done. That one's in the bin. Good riddance. I literally in a group chat.
I've got another one that I've just remembered.
Okay, we'll circle back. We're always circling back. I think I mentioned that it was just a shiny new version of Gladiator 1 that's just bigger and longer, and you blanked it, and then I tagged you blanking it, and you blanked it again. It's quite fun. It's a good bit. If anyone can uphold their reputation while doing that bit in group chats, recommended. But so yeah, I left it in the dirt.
I think I've got one that kicks Gladiator 2 to the curb.
Hold on, are you going to rescend? Are you doing
I'm
going to
rescind because I've just remembered one that
a Moonlight La La Land
I would
moment?
have loved to watch with you.
Wow. Okay. Just to finish my Gladiator 2 story, which now
the
lack of a good button is just. Well, I totally decided I'm happy with my life. Mr. FOMO out here was actually just going to let it go, and then fucking of all people, I see a headline. Director gives his favorite movie of the year. Christopher Nolan said this was his favorite movie of the year.
I mean,
are you fucking kidding me?
It's a good movie. Do you know why it's a good movie? Because the first movie is a good movie. And they just did it again. Like, I'm just.
I can see why that's also why it's a bad movie, though. So this is just it's the good version of that.
No, because it continues the story. Like The Force Awakens continues the story. Doesn't mean it's not the same movie as A New Hope.
But the take I heard, which I need your quick take on, the take I heard is in the 2000 original. You've got when you see the Colosseum, it hits because it's not as easy, just CGI, and then there's like a million people. Whereas in this one, it was just a bit like every time they needed a thing, it was like AI.
There's some CGI
Roman
like
times.
computer artists out there that you've just insulted by saying,
snapping your fingers. Shout out you lot. You're literally AI underlings. But like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's so much easier now. No. But like,
I get it. Yeah. Colosseum didn't hit. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay.
Now,
but what's your
rescinding?
Wow.
Folie à deux.
You took mine.
Nah, what? Really?
That was like Joker 2 was mine. I've got honorable mentions of Beetlejuice.
Ah, fair.
Moana 2.
Yeah, a lot of sequels.
Sonic, put Wicked. Yeah. A lot of even Wicked I thought would have been quite funny because I want to hold space for lyrics. But at the end of the day, I also thought Joker 2 would have been fucking jokes. The banter when listener, if only you knew the grief we can sometimes give each other in our DMs, etc. But when the hate started pouring in for Joker 2, Christopher didn't necessarily it's not his film. He doesn't go to bat for it, but he was into Joker. We remember this. We listened to the podcast. We know this.
And at some point, you were too.
At
some point in the movie experience.
Oh, mate, I wasn't a full-on hater at all. No. I found I had critiques, but I was quite charmed by it too. But yeah, the amount of just perverse pleasure I took in archiving all the Joker 2 hate in his DMs is quite funny because if I need to access it again, I'll just scroll up in the DMs.
Since.
Hasn't seen it since he got traumatized out of the DMs.
And I've still not given you my opinion or review on it, which is also my bit.
Because it feels like that might be later, right? Maybe. Same as Joker, many years later.
Maybe one day.
Christopher, did we just make the year that wasn't history and give it the same award? Because I very much award it to Joker 2.
Yeah, fair.
So I guess we're shit. Honorable mention. Just we actually did the Iron Claw this year, which was one of my I wish we had seen together shouts previously. We actually sort of did, if not a knock at the cabin, we did do the new M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Did we?
Remember that was that in my list of movies that I wanted to go cinema with you of recent times was the new M. Night Shyamalan when it was Knock at the Cabin,
yeah,
and it was the Iron Claw.
Sorry, yeah.
And so those two I feel like have been redeemed. Still, we have one outlier, and it was your last year movie we had seen together winner, Killers of the Flower Moon. So that's just still out there hovering, waiting, whispering, not seen. And you made me laugh. You said you just couldn't find a spare 5 hours, and that's a very fair point. So we finished the year that wasn't in movies with the movie/celebrity story you wish had happened. Got a bit dark last year. I mean, I made you laugh a lot, but things age differently. And mine was basically if only Matthew Perry could come back and do Chandler and Joey, the sitcom, go live with Monica and Chandler. It doesn't hit the same. But at the time, I think maybe we were still trying to process our feelings, and it was helping us. You have to laugh and cry through some things. So that was last year. This year, Christopher, also around Christmas time, for some reason, I was watching a lot of Friends. And I had one honorable mention of Gavin and Stacey did a big old special, and I've never been a Gavin and Stacey guy. And I was like, what if the Friends ladies did a Christmas special? And they did it and paid homage. And it was also American shows, from what I know, don't do this British TV show tradition, The Office, Outnumbered, all these things. And I was like, oh, I do love Friends. But instead, that's just an honorable mention. I'm going to lean more into celebrity stories. Sometimes I don't get the salacious, gossip, hungry celebrity part of my way of consuming culture out in the podcast enough. I'm trying to act all hoity-toity, highbrow shit. No. I just wish that Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez had stayed together, because they're coming together.
I missed them splitting up at some point as well. Like, I know that they split up. But I don't know what happened between them being like so cute and back together, and then just suddenly splitting again. Like, is it Ben? Is there something wrong with Ben? He can't keep hold of these women of our millennial youth. Like, I don't understand it. Do you know what I mean?
Potentially. When you first said, I miss them, I thought that's what you were going to say. I thought we were going to give out the same award again. You missed the whole...
I missed them splitting up.
But you did catch them getting back together.
Yeah. I was all like, J-Lo's happy. J-Lo's doing Super Bowl. She had a special. She's doing movies.
And then she had to downgrade her tour because not enough gig tickets were selling. And they kept coming out. And then there kept coming out paparazzi photos of her and Ben just looking stressed at each other. It's so bad. I know.
Is Ben already? I bet Ben's already with someone else now, though, right?
I don't think he's
single for long, is he?
There's very quick rumors of him getting back with mother of his children, Jennifer Garner. I'm not.
See, that was the one I was talking about. Women of our millennial youth. It's like, do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Women of our millennial youth is another alternative
he wasn't
title.
With like Rachel from Friends as well. He probably was. I don't know.
Well, another honourable mention for me was for Brad Pitt and Jennifer. Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston. Do you remember they had that Corona Zoom moment where they just flirted for a second? Do you remember? Don't not remember, because then I'll have to explain it.
Hey, I'm working on a movie with my mate again. Like I don't know
No, you have no idea what I'm talking about. They were doing like a big cast reading, and they just sort of had like 2 seconds of smiling at each other, and the internet blew up for a second and thought, are they getting back together?
How do we know? So if it was a Zoom moment, how do we know that they were laughing or smiling at each other when they're all in different squares? I'm just trying to understand.
Oh my God. I can't be on a podcast with 37-year-old men explaining Zoom moments to each other. Like, listen, they had a spark. It was there. Because sometimes, Christopher, on a big Zoom, suddenly the speaker is just the only one featured and highlighted. So it went from Brad saying something to Jennifer replying. Everyone else shut the fuck up for a minute. And we had our moment, okay? A moment was had. But nothing to my knowledge.
We've just had our moment.
But my winner is...
You haven't said your winner yet?
Ben and Jennifer. Jennifer. I miss Bennifer. Let's third time to charm in 2028. Bennifer, third time to charm.
So do we know why they split? Have they said why, or was it just like
Oh, he's asking things. We love this energy.
We care.
No, it's just because Ben Affleck is mad, depressed, and just drinking Dunkin' Donuts.
He's drinking Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, coffee from Dunkin' Donuts.
The coffee from Dunkin'. He's a big Dunkin' guy. If you Google Ben Affleck Dunkin' right now, please.
He made a nice movie about Nike. Just
great. He's
with his
a
mate.
good.
He did his
He's an
yeah.
underrated movie maker slash writer slash actor.
Yeah.
Last slash is actually
I don't
the
know.
craziest.
Watch his Batman movies and tell me what you think about his acting.
Rough. We all have a Batman slip up. Shout out George Clooney. But also just a talker about things. He had a viral clip about AI.
He did a bit about AI. Yeah.
Ben Affleck is
That's
cool.
going in the show notes.
I don't know. The
Along
show
with
notes were pretty
pictures,
vague.
along with pictures of Dunkin' Donuts.
The moment.
Affleck, yeah. And that moment, yeah, if you can find
the
it.
moment, Duncan. There's a lot. Let me just make notes. Ben
you make notes while I
Affleck.
tell you what
Thank you.
movie weird story that I wish
Celebrity
had
story.
happened.
Yes,
Yeah,
wish it happened. Let's do it.
So I don't know if this counts as a celebrity story, but we got obsessed with holding space with stuff. So
yeah,
I would love if on their little tour that they were doing when they were just so emotionally involved, uninvolved, not sure what's happening in and around them, whether they live in this weird bubble, and I'm referring to Cynthia and Ariana, and the two ladies from Wicked, and I wish that they had somehow ended up as a pair on Hot Ones. And I think
wow, that's very you. That's very niche and you.
I feel like niche, it would have taken the weird holding space moment and a bunch of hot spices and some hope. I don't know whether Sean would have, asked some challenging questions or challenged them on it or whatever. But whether they would have known what the hell was going on is kind of all that I care about. So that's
I like this idea of like in the current way a media cycle will work online. That it's like the unexpected will gain traction, right? That 20 seconds maybe clip went crazy. And like, if you had to be a media team doing what should we do with this, Hot Ones actually is such a logical shout of what to do with it. They ended up doing, I can't remember what celebrity interview outlet did it. They ended up doing a nice
thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they did a nice reaction video to it, which got for a lot of traction too. But I think you're quite right. When you're getting that much from something, do a Hot Ones where the cold open references it, and you're in the money, and then it's probably going to be a fun video too. That's a really good shout. And that's a celebrity story. You did it.
Thank you.
Might be that's the most dialogue about.
What did I say last year?
Category. Yeah, let me see. Last year, you said that
it's going to be like our Billie Eilish Vanity Fair thing, isn't it?
Yeah. And there was so many for me, and I don't seem to have written what my winner was. Yeah. Oh, yours. I'm so glad you asked about this one.
Oh.
Because the way you've written it and the way then you talked about it, I'm still like trying to get my head around it. It's great. So I'm just going to say it to you.
In my words that I've written.
Yeah, in the words you've written, and I want you to process it and tell me what you think you meant, and I'll see how much it matches up. And I'll do
I spent a lot of my life trying to think what I meant.
You wrote movie/celebrity story you wish had happened for last year. Your winner was Tom Cruise versus AI in real life. I do it. Big pop for his own shit. There you go. He's loving it. He's like, what a great fucking idea. It's all coming back to him. It's all flooding back. Or the genius, spelled G-E-N-I-O-U-S.
I'm just picturing like the way he had his rant on set around COVID and whatnot. Just like Tom Cruise going batshit crazy.
Yes.
Basically, and not doing it the Ben Affleck way. It's kind of
Yeah. And you were basically like playing on my issues with
probably
AI.
Still hot on Mission Impossible.
You're still very hot on Mission Impossible and how it incorporated it.
2025 movie that we must see together, and if we don't, it's on this list next year.
I love it. The year that wasn't in music. Let's get straight to musical artist you wish had released an album, Christopher. So many special mentions here. You got, I think, with all the media that's been going on the last few years, Britney needs to come back and just put out an album. Britney, we waiting on you, girl. Julian Casablancas, lead singer.
She has a Christmas song I didn't know she had.
That's wild. I know you're doing the Voids thing that isn't the Strokes. Can you just do a solo Julian Casablancas album? That's my winner. I love you, Julian Casablancas.
His Christmas song got played on Radio 1, by the way.
Did it? I wish it was Christmas Today. His cover of the SNL song.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I then
last
spent 5 minutes explaining that in the car.
Oh, I love that. Regina Spektor. Just because I need you to release more albums, please, girl. Ed O'Brien, another honorable mention. Go on then, mate. And then one that's sort of for you. Do you have one for this?
Of course I do. Is it the same one I wrote down last year? I have an
Okay,
honorable mention.
Go on then.
The Shins.
That was the one for you. Okay, good. I was going to give you that one if you hadn't thought of it, but you're thinking about your own stuff here. I appreciate it. And would you like to know your last year one?
Is it Radiohead?
The exact words were radio fucking head.
Okay, cool. Do you know what it is this year?
Second year in a row.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
And it will be every year until
they do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Musical artists you wish you had collaborated on an album. Last year, Christopher, this was a fun one. You went for Swift and Cyrus.
Ooh.
I know. Yeah. This is what happens when you reverse who consumes the content. It's a lot of one of us being very entertained by himself. Who have you got this year, Christopher?
I know they've worked on a song together.
Yeah.
But I would dig an album because the vibes go together. Like I think he's released an album this year, which I don't know how to pronounce the title of, and that is Mr. Father John Misty.
Oh yeah. Yasahana Maarasa Manana.
Bless you. But
yeah, Father John and Lana.
Yeah,
I love
I think
that.
that'd be a good album. I think
that'll be a great album.
Because when I saw it at Hyde Park, he was on before, and I was like, he's just setting the vibe. And he said, I can play all my chill songs because you're all here for just chill standing.
And now they can collaborate without everyone having to do a big "Are they together?" thing.
Mm-hmm.
Not that they ever have, maybe because she's married now.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've been just duetting and rating each other for so many years. That's a really good shout, actually.
Give us a duet album.
Just give us the album.
Give us the Bryan Adams, Mel C, but Father John and Lana. Do you know what I mean?
I do know exactly what you mean. Christopher, for me, in all my looking forward to Oasis next year, getting back into a bit of content, one funny moment pops out in the last few years' history of them not biting and going for the reunion quite yet. And that was when Liam Gallagher sang Live Forever with Coldplay. And that's just a funny moment in musical history. And I was just thinking, go on, why didn't the lads just do an album together? Because for that song and in that moment for Manchester, for giving the city that nice moment after the terrible thing that had happened at the Ariana Grande concert, and they were, I think Liam then went on to roast Noel for not coming back together. Then it's a wonder they have managed to mend fences. But yeah, there's something about they both gave Coldplay a lot of shit over the years. Yeah. But there was just something big is at stake. Let's come together. And then the crazy thing now is, as much as everyone's freaking out about Oasis, Coldplay on the back of Oasis come back have now broken Taylor Swift's record of Wembley sellout dates. I think they're on exactly a dozen. Wow. Which is mental. And I'm actually a bit confused as to whether Oasis just aren't trying because like they've got dates around the world, they're trying to do a thing, or if they actually don't have as many fans as Coldplay, even with all the reunion many years demand thing and the crashing of Ticketmaster and all this shit. Anyway, there's just a lot there. Coldplay fronted by Liam Gallagher make an album. That'll be really funny.
Coldplay has sold out Wembley 12 dates.
Bro, fully.
And how many tickets do you have?
I tried to get. I couldn't. I could get for Oasis. None. I'm going to figure it out. FOMO. And also a funny one for the trolls, an honorable mention is Boy Genius. We know Boy Genius. We got a Phoebe Bridgers, we got a Julian Baker. I got Lucy Dexter. Exactly. So in another band fronted by a man, to be problematic about it, why couldn't they have done a little album fronted by Matty Healy of the 1975? I know we've had beef.
That's way too much just teenage angst in one room. Like, seriously.
I know. Phoebe, you were on that 1975 song. We all used to get along. I know we've all chatted a bit of shit online since, and we're all a bit like not sure where we stand with each other. Let's come together with some music. My musical artist you wish you had collaborated on an album award is all about building bridges, Christopher. So my honorable mention goes out to them lot. And then next up is musical artist you wish had made a triumphant comeback. Golly gosh. Wish had written a book, of course. Mine is easy. I can smash it out right out the gate. I can't believe I didn't say it last year because this would be my version of your radio fucking head every year. A sequel to Chronicles. Bob Dylan, where you at? You're still alive. Fucking let's go. I know.
It's gonna be my one.
Was it actually?
Just like I'm wishing he's writing a book this year on his just what he's up to. Like I would read it if it was literally just like back at the Albert Hall today. Like
mate, you need a chronicle of last year. Is that what you're saying?
I had some granola for breakfast and a cup of coffee. Did sound check with my boys. Now just wandering around. I don't know. Wherever that is.
I really like this answer because I think
weird line is by the V&A or whatever it is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. The South Kensington, and then going through the line.
Yeah,
I like this. You're basically saying you want the Bob Dylan version of Ed O'Brien's Kid A blog back in the day, his Kid A diary. You
Yeah.
want a very
Oh,
just,
yeah, I just
day by day
just give us the Bob Dylan notebook. That's kind of what
Bob Dylan notebook. Even
just,
if it's online,
just this
I
tour,
think that
this
counts
Rough and
as a
Rowdy's
book.
tour.
There we go. The Rough and Rowdy Ways tour. Oh, that's such a good answer. God damn. Just sequel to
Chronicles.
mine's just a sequel to Chronicles. Yeah. Whoa, indeed. That's how I said it. Musical artists you wish had made a triumphant comeback. Ugh, this one was tough for me. I had 2 top contenders.
How explain the difference between this and
I love
artists
this, yeah.
you wish had released an album? So is this is it not
I
the
would
same
say,
thing?
can you think of someone who's actually been like fully not releasing new music for a while? So the way you did it differently, for Wish had released an album, you did Radiohead. For Triumphant Comeback, you went for another post-death Michael Jackson album from The Vault, ? That was your way of doing it. Because low-key, Christopher, you're quite right. There is very little difference here. So it's however you want to spin it, okay?
Fine.
For me, I'm thinking, here's how I differentiated it. Maybe it can help a bit, is I went for like who's been missing from the live scene.
Right.
Not just album. And obviously there's going to be a crossover there. So I was having a really hard time choosing between, but in this moment, I will force myself and I will say, you know what? It's crazy to me. This is how it goes sometimes, but he was going to be the guy. He was going to save us. He was supposed to be our generation's whatever the fuck. And then he did the thing and he disappeared. And now with every year, that makes him more the guy because he's disappeared, and it probably makes it harder to come back. That's right. I'm talking about Frank Ocean. Where you at, Frank?
I thought you were going to say J. Paul.
Could have been. I mean, J. Paul's kind of back now.
Yeah.
Shout out. But yeah, there is a sort of genre crossover there, so that's an interesting one. But yeah, Frank Ocean. I know you came back and did a really weird Coachella headlining set, I think, but come back and do an album. Come back and do all the things. An honorable mention goes out to Sufjan Stevens. We are very, very demanding as Sufjan Stevens fans, and you've been doing loads for many years. This year, I think you produced some stuff. You produced a John Legend album, a few other bits, but I simply need you. But this year, the winner, because the year that wasn't award Christopher is actually like a bargaining chip for reality. You're manifesting. So if I had to place it somewhere, I feel like I think it's more desperate right now. We get Frank Ocean back. Sufjan deserves a break, but Frank, I'm actually worried about. So we need as much manifesting bargaining chips as we can get. Who are you going to go for with all my ranting, rambling, raving?
It's funny that we didn't manifest Hope of the States last year.
It's so wasn't even on the fucking radar.
No, and that
makes it even more
is
special.
the answer to this question. If we were going to compare the whole album and Triumphant Comeback thing, that's kind of the thing we're looking at.
It should be named the Hope of the States Award.
Can we call it that now? Can we? Yeah. Okay. Cool. Agreed.
The Hope of the State.
We did the podcast nod, which means it's agreed.
We did the podcast nod for the audio listeners.
Consulted the board. It's all fine. You know what? I'm going to throw it out there. And again, there are possibly some honorable mentions that I can't think of right now. But I'm going to go Guillemots.
Wow, that's such a you did it. You completed
because I'm like, if I'm going down the same Hope of the States, like, yo, nostalgic 18, 20-year-old Chris needs something to perk him up and remind him why he loved music in the first place. Like, that's the shit. Do you know what I'm saying? So
that's super the shit. That's super the shit. And you know that 18 to 20-year-old Christopher was going to those gigs with an 18 to 20-year-old Jeffrey, and we loved Guillemot so much and held on. And I don't know how they slipped through our fingers.
What the world needs right now is that uplifting just stuff. I'm just saying.
Then Fife came back and did stuff solo, and we were both very happy with that. And we went to his solo gig, and we were very happy.
And it was fine.
And it was I would say even great.
Yeah.
It's just the reason I will agree with you on fine is that seemed to be where some momentum stopped. And now I'm mad at him, and that was only fine. But we literally spoke about this while waiting for Hope of the States to come on stage, just in terms of like, who else is there?
Yeah.
I think actually we were getting off the train to go to the gig. So I think that's such a good answer to say Guillemots rather than just Fife. And I do have to throw this out there, Christopher. You know how talking about our difference in FOMO, I go to a lot and then feel more FOMO and all that jazz. Sometimes I don't even know quite what is going on with my algorithms and the way I use the internet. It can be quite a mysterious alchemical process. But somehow, in some unintentional scrolling, I saw that there was some sort of Christmas gig around 20th December time where some other person did a evening with friends musical night, and fucking Fife Dangerfield turned up and played Made Up Love Song, and we missed it.
You know what? My life was better before you said that.
I know. I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm so sorry.
No. You know what? You've just lined up 3 terrible pitches for your life for the next 3 weeks. Just so you know. All right.
And Misery Loves Company, the listener / watcher can really relate to, the moment after you find out something and your life is worse. The only thing that can square that circle is to then share it with someone whose life will also be worse afterwards. I'm sorry, Christopher. I'm just trying to say, in the trying to make 2025 this year even better, let's keep our eyes out. Let's have a.
At least he remembers the chords and the words. Just saying.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Let's just make sure we've got the little follow button for his name clicked and all the things, and let's make sure we catch up.
Jeff, you are my follow button. I don't have the button. If I get a message from you and it's like got exclamation marks or excited emojis, I'm like, oh, something's happening in the world that I need to be aware of.
No, you make a very good point. But now,
except the one time you didn't tell me about that, and it just happened, and I wasn't there, which we'll come on to shortly.
Oh, foreshadowing. But specifically, I do like that shout because Fife is still on the gig scene. Guillemots, though, for the listener, Fife Dangerfield was the lead songwriter / frontman of a band called the Guillemots from back in the day, and they made a few albums and they were all amazing, and me and Christopher really loved them, and then they seem to have disappeared, and Fife is still knocking about here or there, but he made one solo album, and I don't think made a proper album since, even though he released a lot of music.
He was featured on a Christmas advert doing a cover of a Billy Joel song.
Could you feel a more like security, like, oh, my guy's in it and he's got a solo career going, then you get the fucking song on the advert. Like, there was no reason to worry about him disappearing. There was no Hope of the States drama, no nothing. And then he just...
Unless his solo album didn't do that well. You don't, like commercially it wasn't viable for him to continue
or it did
doing
okay.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to be on the conveyor belt of all the release schedule shit, and he releases stuff in a very unique way online. It seems, I don't know, this could be a million things, but for us, maybe, it's funny, Christopher, because I feel like with the Hope of the State stuff, just to finish this off, how much the reunion has been commodified and overly done now is a bit exhausting, and it's so commercial. We get it. We get it. But wasn't it so fucking cool for the band? We wanted to have it, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I just want that night with Guillemots too. As much as I get it's all a bit too much.
It was like closure, wasn't it? With Hope of the States.
It was like closure and then potentially an opening of a new door. It's a very beautiful night in our musical history, in our friendship history.
These last few.
And it's time to rattle through now. To be fair, we got only one last category left, and it's gigs and events. The year that wasn't for gigs and events, Christopher. What have you got for gig you wish had happened this year? So it didn't happen, but you wish it had.
Would love to go see Miley, to be fair.
Miley. Yeah. Didn't get, as far as I'm aware yet, didn't gig this year, at least in our town. Never seen her?
She's kind of not, no. And she's just kind of like, considering the sort of the impact her most recent album has had on my surroundings.
Yes.
I think it's probably something I would have probably thrown money at to go and see.
Love it.
I think there's a full video release and a live album from her previous tour, which just sounds banging, to be honest. It's like a full-on live band thing. It's not just press play.
Ooh.
So it's and to be fair, she's a really fucking good singer, Jeff. To be honest, I know you're funny with voices.
Well, no, listen.
But
in terms
by the sounds of things, she was kind of just done with the touring scene, and she's just not kind of into it. She did a few awards appearances and things this year, but she didn't tour her last album, and it was a good album, so it would have been good.
Oh, mate, I feel you. And listen, from last year, so actually someone has now, who was on a streak of keeping the award, has lost it, because last year your shout was Radiohead.
Well,
Perennial
I thought
shout.
I couldn't just do the Radiohead thing again.
Love it.
Yeah.
This year I've got honorable shouts of what if Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake had all come together after all that beefing. What if we all just came together? No, all the hip hop heads would be like, "Shut up, beef rules." Fair enough.
Well, in a sort of a Kanye, Jay-Z type tour.
Yeah. And we're burying the beef and that sort of thing, just like for a one-off gig, and you happen to be there. Because like, as much as you love the tour, it's like
you're like just like a one-off moment of a. Okay, fine.
Yeah, that's a gig. That's a singular gig. I wish had happened.
Not a tour.
Yes. But then I've gone for the winner. I've gone for for some reason, I've got an artist and a venue that just I want it together. I want Björk, and I want her at the Hammersmith Apollo, and it's just in my head, and it just
anything
right?
at the Hammersmith Apollo. It's just
Well, it's kind of anything. It's kind of anything. And I've got one FOMO from the end of last year. I went on a Rough Trade waiting list. It didn't happen for me this time. Rough Trade East. She did a very random last minute DJ set there. And I was like, waitlist. And then it didn't come through. So next year, hopefully. Next up, we have a gig you wish you had attended. And keep in mind, that's right before gig you wish we had attended together. So do try and keep it. Oh, thought there might be crossover here. And what is that one?
You go first. Well, you tell me your answers first, and then I'll...
Can I predict, is it All In?
No, that's not a gig.
Oh, is it not? I mean, gig/event. I thought you might have tried to get All In.
I mean, Elevate
AEW,
does bang. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm saying. There's that Will Ospreay theme song. Someone was sure All In would feature here, so that's a shocking development. But wrestling is distinct to the gigs and events we're doing. I hear you.
Oh, it's gigs and events. Sorry.
I mean, no. Well, the category is gigs and events, but then the way I've subcategorized, I literally only write gig, so that's absolutely fair enough. I've struggled here, and so I'm just going to go for a winner because
because you attended.
I actually the funniest thing, and I now have FOMO for a thread I started last year called All the FOMO, and then I stopped around March, April. So I have FOMO for not keeping up with my FOMO thread, which might be the most on-brand thing I've ever said on this podcast. I don't know how I've attended so many gigs and yet feel FOMO for so many.
I wish you had a count for how many you've attended this year. Do you think you could figure it out?
I mean, on average, maybe one a week, I feel like.
No,
it's too much. One every 2 weeks. But at my age,
sometimes you don't like 4 in a week. Like,
do you know what I'm saying? That's a fair point. I'm gonna go for this is such a funny one. I've stopped listening to it. Update for the listeners. I haven't been a sports podcast consumer for quite a while now. I used to really enjoy the tennis podcast. I used to really enjoy the Totally Football podcast. I've sort of tuned out for the minute. It's wild. But the tennis podcast did a show at Bush Hall, and I wish I'd gone. It's a really cute venue, Bush Hall. Yeah, I love a bit of Bush Hall. And then Ryan Adams also played Bush Hall. And then the comedian Adam Friedland played Bush Hall. So all of my answers are Bush Hall, all my honorable mentions. But I'm going to go for actually the tennis podcast live at Bush Hall. That would have been quite a little event to go to. Yeah, I like the tennis podcast. Shout out those guys. Christopher, what did you go out for? Gig you wish we had attended together, and gig you wish you had attended?
Paul McCartney.
Really? Was that right up there for you?
I got FOMO.
Okay.
And I kind of feel like I didn't know it was happening, and then I found out it was happening like just before it was happening, and then I was like, why am I not seeing Paul McCartney? That's what, considering like the last couple of years I've been very much Beatle heavy.
Getting into it.
It's all been flooded.
Yeah, trust me, if I could have gotten you one, you would have been right there next to me. That all I could get my hands on was one measly ticket, and then the very next night,
we know
Ringo Starr turned up. You know. The people don't know Ringo Starr turned up the next night.
I'm pretty sure you told them on this podcast last week.
I'm telling you again. And Ron Wood turned up. A Rolling Stones Beatles mashup happened, and I was just at home on my couch being like, last night was the best. Oh, how they do.
And just enjoy what you did see, Jeffrey. You got to get...
That's the point of the podcast. Consume what you do, enjoy what you do. I'm only being facetious. I'm still very, very grateful for what I consumed.
You're genuinely broken.
No. I'm super grateful. And I'm sorry you feel FOMO. And hopefully he stays alive and we get to see him in any capacity again. Shout out the Beatles. Mine. It's funny because I don't feel like you feel it, but I feel it for us. Because I feel like it is the most 2024 coded thing ever. And we've kind of missed the moment now as much as we sort of enjoyed it. Charlie XCX at the O2. That would have been fucking baller. That would have been some good shit. So I don't know if I could. I feel it. I
don't know if I could even.
You're suddenly.
I would be there and feel like I shouldn't be there. Like.
Yeah, but that's what the person says when they're preparing for the gig. When you're at the gig, having enjoyed the album like we did, I think that would have fallen to the wayside. But hey, this is just an award. Story and entertainment you wish had happened. And I think this is actually our last award before we wrap it up. Christopher, have you got anything for it, or would you like me to swoop in there with my one?
Swoop in, because I don't even have that question on my list. I must not have.
Oh, that's fine. My bad. So for me, I found it really, really interesting that, I'm not sure you saw this, Christopher, but finally, after many, many years, Mr. Adam Sandler is making a sequel. Never done that before. And he's gone for Happy Gilmore. It just the trailer actually just came out the other day.
How is this a story that you wish had happened?
Well, if you'll let me finish.
Big Daddy sequel.
It's weird because I both enjoyed the trailer for Happy Gilmore 2, but like low key felt it was a bit almost AI generated. There was just something unreal about it, and I thought, fuck it, if he's going to do it, and I feel a bit of a way about it, let's get completist about it. Let's get OCD about it. my story and entertainment I wish I had happened. Why don't Adam Sandler do a Taylor Swift re-recording her whole back catalog thing and just dedicate the rest of his career to making a sequel for every movie he's already made? That's my answer, and that's just a funny thing that if he did would be wild and would be crazy. And I'm just out here saying, why was Happy Gilmore the one? Like you say, Big Daddy.
I feel like that's your favorite one, though. No,
Mr.
Billy
Deeds.
Madison's your favorite one, isn't it?
I vary. Billy Madison's probably been my favorite the longest, but
Yeah.
I'll vary. I'll jump. I'm a big Mr. Deeds guy suddenly. Do you know what I'm saying?
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big Click guy every now and again when the moment takes me.
Click 2. That's what we need, right?
I'm saying, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have one, Christopher?
I do, and it's kind of. I almost had it as a celebrity story that I wish had happened, but I didn't. But it involves just Jim Carrey and SNL and just
wow. So he did do the Biden thing. So what do you want? You want more
Biden?
He did the
would
very
be fine,
brief,
to be honest.
just more
yeah,
Biden.
like that was what 4 years ago before he became president.
You are not backtracking on loving Dana Carvey as Biden.
No. Dana Carvey's fine. I feel like Jim Carrey. I'm hoping he pops up in February when they do the 50th anniversary, whatever.
Yeah,
but more Jim Carrey in my life. To be honest,
I appreciate it. Can I just say?
I mean, as much as I still need to find someone to go, or I'd probably go watch Sonic 3 on my own. But then if there's a bunch of kids, it's just me.
Christopher, here's I'm going to unlock something for you in the history of this podcast, okay? Because sometimes we try and get each other just by spamming the other one, and then the other one is like, leave me alone. I sent you a few Matty Healy videos yesterday, leave me alone. You send me Sonic stuff, I say, leave you alone. That thing you just did of evoking pity, sympathy, I felt you were quite pathetic in that moment. I'm much more likely to come with you now. Just keep hitting that angle.
Jeff.
Yeah, go on.
I really just kind of want to go see Sonic 3. It'd be really nice.
No, it doesn't ring as genuine. I don't know.
You're a Ben Schwartz guy now. You've seen him do his little unplanned little sketches.
I do like Ben Schwartz. That's good. That's good. But then I saw that he was...
and we can just forget that Idris Elba's in it. And just think that the big
Why do we want to forget that?
Because everyone's obsessed. I'm not. I don't get it. I didn't watch the big show that he was in, and everything else I've seen him in. He's been bang
Let's
average.
go back to Future Pictures. Oh, you're crazy. He should be the new James Bond, and it's not even close. And I can't believe they're not doing it. Christopher, I would like to say to you that perhaps Sonic, but perhaps not. And can I workshop yours with you for a second? Because SNL's fine, but I think with all the Sonic of it all, are we talking? Yeah, what are you saying?
I
see your little
nothing.
Did you just get rid of it? You got rid of it. I'm gonna put it in my phone.
This is good podcast material. Me just deleting stuff.
He's going in our Google Doc and deleting what I'm writing. How dare you, sir? Christopher, I'm gonna say to you that I'm gonna workshop your one and say you just need Jim Carrey in comedy again.
Yeah.
SNL is fine, but I think
he's technically in comedy in Sonic. I'll take him in something not comedy.
Mate, let's start a 17-minute argument. I think the real way, if we had a huge audience, the year that wasn't awards would work is we would put both of ours on the thing, and then we get an audience vote for the one that actually wins. And if you kept it to Jim Carrey in comedy, you would win all the time because everyone of our generation needs that.
Yeah.
So if you, I feel like, but then you'd also have to step. Sonic is. He's doing comedy in a kid's film. I'll give you that.
Yeah, that's what
Christopher,
I'm saying.
let's wrap it up with a resolution. Because last year, your resolution was, we had a prediction and a resolution. So you can just whip up a quick 1-2 punch. A prediction for something's going to happen, and then a resolution for something you hope is going to happen. That's right. I'm defining words for you. So my one was crazy. My prediction was crazy. It was basically, we agreed, it was a bit of therapy. It was to give myself closure. I predicted Radiohead would break up in the year 2024. I'm very glad that didn't happen. I don't know why I said it. It was just...
Instead, we got 2 Smile albums.
Instead, we got 2 Smile albums. My heart was broken, and I was looking for closure. And now just, you know what? As you might have noticed from today's awards, not actually touching the Radiohead thing. It's almost like I've been burned. I'm gonna let it breathe. So instead, my prediction for the coming year will be that does it count if I'm sideways stepping from Radiohead to just Tom York by his little old self, bringing the Tom York solo tour to Europe and the UK, and we will be there. That is my prediction for 2024. Christopher, do you have a cultural prediction for 2024?
Taylor to headline Glastonbury.
Wow.
I thought it would be this year.
Nah?
Jesus Christ. She's gonna Rihanna Super Bowl it. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Who is doing the Super Bowl this year, by the way?
great question. Is it Usher? No, Usher did it last year, innit? Beyonce did the Beyonce Bowl.
How
Can we
could
shout
you
out how
forget
good that
Usher's
was?
performance from the Super Bowl last year, Jeff?
Rude. It was all right.
Exactly.
He's got the moves.
He said, "Yeah."
Beyonce Bowl was sick.
Yeah.
He said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah." And then
Who is
okay,
it? Who is
that's
it?
so
Come
good.
on, stop it. Who is it? Who is
Who's
it?
playing Super Bowl this year? Kendrick. Oh my god, what am I talking about? He's gonna call Drake a pedophile for fucking the whole world. It's gonna be the wildest cultural moment of 2025.
When he said he's gonna
but I
call
love
Drake,
it.
I just pictured him phoning him.
Yo, what's up, pedo? Boop, and then they do the fucking thing. Oh, it's gonna be wild, bro.
That could be forget. No, yeah. So I thought it would be. I thought it would be this year, just because she was touring and she was in the UK, and I thought it would make sense that she did Glastonbury.
Yeah.
But I feel like
yeah.
if she's now, I think the tour officially ended in Toronto the other week, and that's some
the Eras
crazy
tour officially
tailored
ended.
knowledge that I shouldn't know. But it's amazing what you hear on a tech podcast.
It is amazing what you hear. And that also continues a theme from last year, because last year, Christopher, when you were doing a resolution, you had a big old rant about making an exception for, I think, a Man United podcast and the Rocket podcast, which were the two podcasts you were a patron of. And those are the two podcasts you were going to let yourself listen to, even though you were going to try and do a dry January thing. Of
didn't
listening
really
to podcasts.
But both those
Did it not
podcasts
work?
now no longer exist, which is sad.
But do you remember even
Thank you for
trying
bringing
that?
that up.
Do you remember even trying that? Or
I
did
do
you just
remember
fully drop
trying,
it?
and then I remember it not happening. But I also said that we would live stream, and that's happening right now. Is it not?
You did.
We are on YouTube now.
Is it not? He says, "No, yeah, fuck it is." And you're the one doing it.
Yeah.
You did sort of say, and we'd get all our friends to watch. Like that's just, we'll see about that.
No, but I think
you
we
did
wanted to do a live show, didn't we? As well.
Well,
We almost
listening to the episode, all year I've kept in my head, oh yeah, the resolution to do a live show. That wasn't even fucking said.
Was it
It
not?
was just the live stream thing.
Well, then
The
we
live
nailed
stream thing
it.
was
Fuck everyone. We did it.
You did.
We did it. We're here.
Well,
And
we
we're
did it.
live.
We're here to a point, sort of. You basically said, it's just funny. It was all for the resolutions and predictions. There was no year that wasn't award winner. You just basically said a bunch of shit, and whatever sticks, sticks, I guess. Because you said you predicted the podcast will still be going. Nail it. We'll reach episode 100. Nailed it. Reach live stream an episode. Nailed it. And then right at the end, literally, as the guitars are coming in, you said we would record an EP with a minimum of 4 songs.
Motherfucker.
So
Close.
You could. I mean, you could double up.
2 of
again.
them
We
can
could
be
do
the
another-
intro and the outro. We've only got 2 to write.
That's what I'm saying. You fucking nailed it. I could just repeat mine because mine was we had very similar, like quite serious rants at the end of last one about the state of culture, being addicted to podcasts in every spare moment, always filling your ears with content. How the whole point of this podcast is to take yourself out of that, to consume more mindfully, to consume less. So we had all this shit going. I don't think either of us really tried it. Mine was to like remove myself from the platforms. So that's fucking not happened.
No.
My resolution for this year is just going to be to sort out the physical and digital archives. That includes our videos. They belong to be kept. They deserve to be kept safe somewhere, belong somewhere on the internet. I just feel like it's very hard for an old school ADHD brain like mine to comprehend a non-physical world. And sometimes I get a bit overwhelmed and scared, but you know what? That's life now. And so you have to figure out places for all the things. So I'm going to try and sort out the archives this year. And that very much includes our podcast.
Well,
our
then can I make
baby.
one commitment?
Please.
That at least once every quarter, so that's once every 3 months, Jeffrey, we give ourselves an admin day. I know that sounds really sad.
No,
but
let the listener tune into our post-production meeting. That's exactly right. We need an admin day once every quarter for sure.
Yeah.
And at the end of last year, we were shouting out a really talented tech guy who just made Filmaculate, a game, which is awesome. And we were saying, oh, he's so good at tech. Maybe he can help us out. He did. That was one. We didn't even make it a resolution, but he helped us make a website. And that website will continue to flourish in the year 2025. It is the year 2025 now, Christopher. We have the cultural content consumption appraisal, our awards, the year that wasn't awards. They are now in the bag. The resolutions are in the bag. The predictions are in the bag. Hopefully all our dreams continue to come true in the new year. Our podcasty dreams. I've had such a good time. Thank you for in 3.5 minutes of me voice noting, requesting this episode, you telling me within 20 seconds that you'd agreed and then proceeding to be quite hilariously annoyed / surprised that I just continued to sell it to you when I didn't need to.
I enjoyed
maybe 2
writing
days
those
ago.
messages. Yeah,
I know you did.
Yeah.
I think two days ago. But these episodes
That should
actually
be the thumbnail of this.
yeah, just a screenshot of those texts. That's fantastic. I think the listener deserves those. I think that might be me getting back onto the socials of the podcast too. Yeah, these episodes really mean a lot to me. And guess what, guys? The show means a lot to me. Trying to do the things. Let's try to make art. Let's try to consume art mindfully. Let's try to live our best lives this coming year. Now, this is the end. This is the bit where I say goodbye, and he says, "Take care." So goodbye,
and take care.
Happy New Year.